Welcome to the Woden Files, where we go back to the original sources, the old claims, and the historical questions people stopped asking. Right now, there's this massive historical claim going viral.
Yeah, it's everywhere right now.
It really is. It basically says that back in the 12th century, this Icelandic historian, Ari the Learned, explicitly wrote that the Norse god Odin was actually the king of the Turks.
Which, sounds incredible, right? Links Viking mythology directly to the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly. But you actually opened Ari's manuscript for this deep dive.
I did, yeah. The text is called Íslendinga book, which is like this foundational text of early Icelandic history and genealogy. And, well, when you look at it, the word Odin simply is not there.
Wait, not even once?
Not once.
So, what does the text actually say then?
Well, it traces the Scandinavian royal family tree back to a very specific starting point, a figure named Yngvi, king of the Turks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from Yngvi, the bloodline flows down to Njörður, then Freyr, and onward through the kings. But Odin never appears in that sequence at all.
So people are just, seeing the word Turks, imagining Odin, and then just declaring it as a historical fact.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is, honestly, it's exactly like reading a sensationalized clickbait headline, totally ignoring the actual article, and just sharing it with all your friends.
That's exactly what's happening.
But, okay, if Ari didn't mention Odin, how did Odin get dragged into this whole Turkish connection in the first place?
So for that, we actually have to jump forward about a century to another Icelandic historian, Snorri Sturluson.
Okay, Snorri.
Right, and Snorri was not writing a straightforward family tree. He was writing this grand migration epic.
Gotcha.
So he describes a mighty chief named Odin ruling a territory called Assaland, which was located way out east past the Don River.
Hold on, quick geography check here. Why did the Don River even matter to a medieval Icelander?
Well, classical and medieval geographers consider the Don River to be the traditional boundary between Europe and Asia.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right, and Snorri writes that this Odin possessed great wealth and power in a region he actually calls Turkland.
Turkland?
Yeah, but because the Roman Empire was expanding and applying all this military pressure, Odin packed up and basically led his people north into Scandinavia.
Wait, hold on. I actually have to defend the internet here for a
Oh,
second.
boy, okay. Let's hear it.
No, seriously, because if you have Snorri talking about Odin fleeing Turkland, and then you have Ari's older document talking about Yngvi, king of the Turks, isn't it entirely logical to connect those dots?
I see where you're going with this.
Right, like if two historical texts put your mythological figures in the exact same geographic region, why is it wrong to just merge them?
Well, that is the exact logical trap that snared an 18th century Swedish historian named Sven Lagerbring.
Okay, so someone did it.
Oh yeah, big time. In 1764, he looked at Ari's Yngvi and Snorri's Odin and just smashed them together into a single historical timeline.
To create one ultimate origin story, which is ridiculous because mashing a tight genealogical list together with a sprawling geopolitical migration epic, it fundamentally misreads what those texts actually are.
It really does.
It's like, I don't know, it's like trying to use your family tree as a GPS roadmap. Sure, they might both be documents written on paper, but they are trying to do two completely different things.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
But, Lagerbring doubled down anyway.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he noticed that certain Swedish words sounded vaguely similar to Turkish words. So, because of those superficial phonetic overlaps, he boldly declared that Swedes literally migrated from Turkey.
But language does not work like that?
No, it doesn't at all.
Just because two words sound similar, that doesn't mean you share a bloodline.
Right. Languages constantly borrow from each other through trade and travel, or they just converge by pure coincidence. Borrowed vocabulary absolutely does not equal shared DNA.
Yeah, obviously.
And more importantly, Lagerbrain completely misunderstood medieval geography.
How so?
Well, when medieval writers used terms like Turks or Turkland, they were not talking about the borders of a modern nation-state. They were relying on ancient biblical maps and classical Roman geography.
Oh, so they were using Eastern labels like Troy or Turkey as these prestigious markers to legitimize their own kings?
Exactly.
Okay, so I have to ask, why should you, the listener, even care about a Swedish historian's massive blunder from 1764? What is the actual takeaway from all this noise?
The takeaway is the persistent instinct behind the error. Because despite Lagerbring's flawed methods and despite modern clickbait, A true, undeniable pattern emerges.
Which is what?
Continually, medieval northern writers looked east to explain their royal roots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they didn't point south to Rome or west to Britain. They consistently tied their ancestry eastward. That geographical obsession is the real historical mystery worth investigating.
That is fascinating. And it leaves you with a really haunting question. I mean, if the original oldest records clearly put Yngvi at the head of that eastern bloodline, why did later generations feel so incredibly compelled to swap him out for Odin? What forgotten ancient memory made those two figures so interchangeable in the public mind?
Be sure to follow the full investigation and source material, as well as download the official briefing for each episode absolutely free at wodensman.com. TikTok, YouTube at I Am Woodman, Facebook, Instagram at Wodensman9. Lastly, all of this is made possible by the upcoming book, The Quest for the Historical Odin, written by soldier-turned-researcher Christopher T. Knight. The book is set to be released December 1st, 2027, along with a short film, Woden.